Hey guys, welcome back to Salem, Cellar. So finally, HBO's adaptation of the video game The Last of Us is finally here. We are 2 episodes in. I watched them both, so I want to talk to you guys about it. I'll be right back. So this series is starring Pedro Pascal as Joel and Bella Ramsey as Ellie Williams. You're introduced the first episode to Joel and his daughter. It takes place in 2003. The first episode is called When You Get Lost in the Darkness. Now, I want to say right away that I have never played the video game. So when I went into this series, I went in completely blind. I'm like, am I going to be able to understand what's going on? When I watched the trailer initially, you see these creatures and I'm like, what are these? Are these zombies? Are these aliens? What is going on? So the first episode, like I said, starts in 2003. You're introduced to Joel, his daughter, and his daughter is actually played by Nico Parker, who is Vandy Newton's daughter. They look almost identical. I knew immediately this was her daughter because they have the same exact face. So it starts, pre-apocalyptic world. You see them just going through their day-to-day, chores, school, work, whatever they need to do. And then shit just hits the fan really, really quickly. It is not an episode that is slow. It is 2 hours long. I want to say that right away, but it gets into the nitty-gritty story immediately. You're really not too sure exactly what's going on. They don't explain it too much. They do mention fungus, and what I found interesting about this series specifically is a lot of these zombie, I guess we can call them zombie type of movies and shows. It's always a virus. It's something viral being spread. And this one, it's a fungus, which I thought was pretty interesting. It's not like anything I've seen ever. So the first episode hits you hard. I'm not going to give any spoilers. A lot of people haven't seen it yet. We're only 2 episodes in, but there's a part that's going to get you a little bit emotional, a little sad. But I want to say this was a great episode. It did not feel like 2 hours. It gets right into it. Like I said, the settings are phenomenal. When you get to post-apocalyptic world, it is nitty and gritty and dark, and it's what you think the world would be at that time. It's 20 years later, 2023, and you see Joel, you see just what this world has done to him. And there's a scene where you see this child and he basically, he finds civilization and he falls out, he passes out. And you look like, the kid couldn't have been more than eight or 9. And you're just like, oh, are people still having children? Like, stop procreating. The world is over. It's a lot of emotional scenes. It's kind of dark, but it is phenomenal. It is really great. Now, I'm a big fan of Resident Evil, and Silent Hill and everything, but I think this show really did it right. It really, really, I didn't play the video game, I researched about it, but it was done well. From what I've been hearing from other people who have played the video games and just things about it, I just think it's amazing. If you see a picture of, Pedro Pascal as Joel and Joel in the video game, they're almost identical. That casting was phenomenal. Phenomenal. So the second episode, you're introduced to Ellie, who is played by Bella Ramsey. And, she's a young girl. I'm pretty sure she's 14 years old. And she has been bitten. Yeah, she's been bitten by one of the zombies, but she hasn't turned. Is she immune? You're assuming she's immune because it's been a couple of weeks and, she's fine. The second episode is actually called Infected. I'm jumping the gun right now. It is really cool how they started this episode because you kind of don't get the science in the first one. But in the second one, they go into it more. You see these creatures more like face to face, which is cool too. You're introduced to a scientist and they pretty much bring her in. This is going on right before the shit hit the fan in 2003. And they show her this specimen, and she's like, what is this? And this is, she knows it's a fungus, and she's like, yeah, this was found in a human. And she's like, this fungus cannot survive in human beings. Apparently it can. So they have a dead woman laying on a slab. She is nude. This is pretty much the only nudity in the 2 episodes, but she's nude. And you could the lady is terrified. You could tell, like, she's like, okay, we're done. The soldier's like, what do we do now? We need to figure out what we do next. They have no idea who bit her, how she got it. This is not patient 0. She's like, bomb the city. She's terrified. Bomb the city. Yeah. And then it goes back to 2023. Like, and, I jumped the gun before. Then you see Ellie in this episode, and you're introduced to her character. She's great. She's funny. Curses a lot. I enjoyed her pretty much throughout the entire episode. But don't want to give too much else away about it. So I just want to throw out there, Neil Druckmann actually directed the 2nd episode, which I thought was really cool. And Gabriel Luna, who's from Terminator Dark Fate, plays Tommy in this series. He's Joel's brother. I really love him in Dark Fate. I know a lot of people don't love that movie, but I really enjoyed it. I love anything Terminator. So when I saw him immediately, I'm like, this is Terminator. Yeah, so just look out for him. He's in the 1st episode. But you do see the creatures. They have this, like, because they're fungus. So they have, like, this, like, plant-like thing that comes out of their mouths, which is pretty disturbing, which is pretty gross, and pretty amazing. I want to say that. When I originally did the trailer reaction, somebody said that there was a couple of different types of zombies. The one I saw kind of looks like a broccoli face kind of one. It was weird, like maybe like cauliflower or something. I don't know what they're called, but I'm very excited to find out the different names and watch the show more. I really, really loved it. I really, really loved it. It is, right now it's on HBO Max, but you can catch it every Sunday. There's going to be a new episode streaming. You can watch it on HBO or HBO Max. I just happen to watch HBO Max. I like to watch them back to back. I didn't want to come right away after the 1st episode because I like to, usually the 1st episode is character development. You're getting to know the different people. You're finding out the story. I don't like to judge a book by that, by its cover. I want a little bit more. So I like to then dive into the 2nd episode to really make a decision whether or not I like it. And this one I loved. It is Salem Cellar approved. It is a show that I can watch constantly. I do want to say that when other people were talking about it, because they, a lot of people watched the 1st episode right away. They're like, oh, move over Walking Dead. This is extremely gory. I didn't find it to be super gory. I'm a fan of gore, but, if I was a normal person that didn't really enjoy gore or didn't need more gore in their stuff, I would think this wasn't gory at all. It really wasn't. There's a couple of scenes, but it's nothing like insane. I really expected it to be like bloody and messy, limbs popping off and like completely brutal, but it really wasn't brutal. I enjoyed it either way. I just wanted to bring that up because I've been hearing a lot of people say that it's like brutal and gory. I didn't get that from the first 2 episodes. I'm sure the rest of this season will be, and I'm sure from how well it's doing, there's going to be another season. So yeah, I will continue to watch it. I will come back and we could talk about it some more. Comment down below and let me know if you've watched the show yet, if you played the video game. I'm really excited just to learn more about like these 2 characters and what they're going to be going through and these monsters, because they are freaking cool. I'm impressed by the plot. I'm impressed by it all. So yeah, bring on more of this series. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be right back.